I just, I got to mention Bob Holt, just one thing about it. Who was at our Illinois game? You remember what question he asked me? He said to me, that Miami game is a big game now. Like, you're going to have to win that. No, Bob, we'll be fine. That's not a big. That was a big game, and he knew it, and so was Michigan, and so was this. We just got to keep growing as a team. The assists to turnovers, 23 assists, 12 turns. There was some good stuff there. And I told John, the things that they're doing and how they're playing for that team, we are pretty big and long. They're going to be in a league. They're going to make 12 to 15 threes. They got guys that aren't afraid to go to the basket. That defense where they're switching everything, I was worried about it. Then they jump into that zone. I was worried about the press a little bit, rightfully so. So I know they may feel down a little bit. They've lost some games, but let me just say this. Stay the course. Stay the course. They're playing in a way that's different, and it's going to stun some people. You watch.
Big crowd in Central Arkansas today, maybe the most fans to see a Hog game in state this year. What did you think about this atmosphere coming here and playing this one?
Well, I mentioned outside that Madison Square Garden, I walked out on that court, and I've been there many times. And I walked out and saw like 8,000 fans there with red. I was stunned, which tells me we need to go there every year. And around Christmas. And then I walk in here and see this crowd. That's why you need to come here and stick around and sign autographs and let the people know, yes, we care. And it was a great crowd. I thought we did some good stuff. It's nice now we can throw the ball to Jonas, and he can make decisions, and he can score around the basket. You're seeing why we wanted him here. You're also seeing why he was an all-conference player. TB is just playing with unbelievable energy. I let Adu not play today. He didn't practice for 3 days. I made him go through the shoot-around today, but he's off tomorrow, and then we got to start getting him back. But for him to play in that Michigan game, listen, folks, he had no business playing. For him to get 7 straight points, which settled us down. I mean, without him, we don't win that game. So he's had the last 4 days off. His fever spiked after that last game, so I just said, let him shut it down for a minute. Now we have some time to get him back, and we leave to go home on the 21st, and it'll come back until the 26th. So.
Y'all have gotten off to some slow starts this year, and especially coming out the emotional win on Tuesday. How nice was it to see for y'all to come out as hot as y'all did?
We had a terrific practice yesterday in Fayetteville. We had a terrific practice. Our shoot-around today was one of our better shoot-arounds, so I felt good coming into the game. The only thing that happens to this team at times, you stretch it out, and we get a little arrogant. And then all of a sudden we give up a 3, we foul a 3-point shooter, we give up a layup, we miss 2 shots, we turn it over, and we've all seen it. And then all of a sudden it's a 6-point game, and it's an 8. Well, you had it at 16, 18, what are we doing? But today I thought there were a couple of those, and I'm trying to convince these guys like Carter, singles. Yeah, I don't need grand slam home runs, singles. If you don't have something, let's just move the ball. I had to do some stuff today to get us to move the ball from one side of the court to the other. Structured motion. Just move it, and then we play. They do pack line defense, and like you think you can throw it to the post, you can't if you throw it to the wing because they front and they flood the weak side. So we did some good stuff.
Yeah, you'd mentioned Jonas, obviously 6 of 6 from the field with 2 blocks as well. Just how important is it to have him now seemingly at full strength, and how has he kind of gone about his?
Strength yet. But he gives you a physical presence. He was an all-conference player. You're not talking about just another guy. Talking about a 6'10", 6'11", all-conference player. Now, the Michigan game, I had to show him some tape of him running. Like, you can do this. You just choose not to, because he ran that Michigan game. He was not giving him anything over the top, which tells you he's probably a little farther along than I give him credit for. And then the other one's Trevin. I mean, when he plays spirited, he's good. Blocking shots, rebounding balls, being long, smart player. But then there's times where he'll kind of back up, and I call it getting arrogant, acting, and all of a sudden you're backdoored, you're this, you're that, and you're kind of, I just took him out. I'm not playing that way. You're capable of doing the other, play that way.
And this is your second game against an in-state team this season. Is that something you think you're going to be doing going forward, or is it just kind of what happened?
I know Coach Broyles wouldn't let anybody do that back in the day. You were not going to play an in-state team. I think times have changed a little bit. I don't want us to get beat by an in-state team, but I think it's good for Darrell Walker to coach back in our building. I think this was good for John Shulman to have his team in this building in the packed environment. How many times are they going to do that, be in this kind of environment? That I would say we would. I don't know how many we can do, but, this year was 2. So.
You kind of mentioned the assist. You had 6 guys in double figures, 23 assists on 33 made field goals. Pretty impressive. Would you say that's a testament to your guys kind of finally getting more comfortable together and kind of hitting the stride?
They're more comfortable in their own skin. That's what the difference is. You understand when I've had a new team just about every year I've coached for the last 17 years. I've had new teams. I had the same teams for a while at UMass and at Memphis for a while. But then it started, and it was like a new team every single year, the last couple of years there. So it's normal for a player to try to establish who he is before you figure out your team. And so he's more concerned with himself. Didn't it look that way early in this year? Did. Why, when a guy missed 2 shots, his head would go down, and then he breaks down on defense? Because he's thinking of himself and trying to establish who he is. TB missing those free throws and then coming back and blocking that shot tells you he's not into that. He's into the team. Nelly getting beat on a back door. We were in the huddle. The back door, watch the back door, he got beat. But what did he do? Instead of pouting, I got beat, he dove on the floor, tipped it away. We are now starting to establish who we are. And it's easier to define roles a little bit more now. How can you do that early in the season when you really don't know who's what? So, yes, we are getting better as a group. We are having a will to win. Now I talked about it out there. We got a couple games, and then we start in an absolute meat grinder. Any win is going to be a big game. Any win you can, and don't think, well, you're at home. You may play 3 top 5 teams in a row at home and get beat. I mean, this league, when I started 16 years ago, there were 2 or 3 teams, and I know Billy had it going, and then we had it going for a while, but there were still only 4 teams, 3 teams. And I used to argue, we deserve 8 teams. I was full of crap. There's no way we deserved 8 teams. But I was saying it to try to help the league and help everybody. Well, you look now, 15 of the teams, if you play on the road, that's a quad 1 win. 15 out of 16. And I said in New York, every one of us are looking for a win. Like you look at your schedule and say, man, maybe we can get this, maybe we can get that. I'm just hoping they're not looking at us saying, woo, we can get that one. And we're not the win. But I'm telling you, there's some good teams, and they're playing well.
Coach, I know you were talking about the offensive efficiency earlier. I think on the stat sheet it shows 9 threes made, 20 taken. I know every game's different, but how does that strike you as a from an efficiency standpoint?
Well, the way these they play, I thought maybe we'd end up taking 30 because of how they play. But the guys, you remember the one that we drove, swung it, posted Jonas, skipped it, he drove, and we did lob? I mean, to me, that's beautiful basketball. That's playing off each other. That's creating space. But I would like us to shoot 25 threes. That's what I'd like. But I have said if we get 9, 10, 11 threes in a game, we'll be hard to beat because we're pretty good defensively. We're pretty big. We can block shots. We can make it hard. Now, if you make 4, 3, that happens, including teams that want to shoot 40. They make 3 or 4. You just hope that they'll only make 3 or 4. So, but yeah, that was, 9 for 20 is pretty big for us. Randy?
Coach, talk about your execution against the zone. Were you pleased with that?
I'll have to go watch the tape. There were some things we did I thought were good. We broke down a little bit, and guys weren't in the right spaces, but did some good stuff.
These last 4 wins, Miami and Michigan included, you've gotten a lot more balance in production from front court and back court. And then specifically Nelly Davis taking good shots and looking comfortable. And then you're
Yes.
getting full-time lead guard assists from both Boogie and DJ in
Yes.
these last few games.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yeah, well, you said it. And Nelly's. It's important that he's comfortable. And again, I only coached him so much, so to know exactly what he is and what he's not, it's taken us time, and it's taken him time trying to figure out what works here. Like, what can I do that I did before? Some of the stuff, it's a different league, and we're playing different people. So, but I think he's going to be fine. I told him and DJ, we need double figures out of both of you. For us to be any good, we need double figures of you and you. And then I think the other guys can fall in. And again, without Adu today, made it a little different.
Coach, you briefly talked about Trevon Brazil a little bit. I mean, he looks like a completely different player than he did last year. Can you just talk about that and what you've maybe seen he's doing different?
What I'm really proud of, like, he's been through a lot. Like, he wanted to play for me. He came to me and said, I want to meet with you. I'm holding him to a high standard, but I told him he's being treated with respect. And that, I think, again, that's part of the reason it's coming out. Like, he is really, there's even more in him than he's shown us. There is. The one play, he got a little selfish, went in. He could have thrown it to a guy at the top of the key, and I told him, come on, man, you don't know. You went in, drew 3, throw it to him. You tried to keep going so you could try to shoot and score again. Don't do that. But I also think he's a double-figure scorer. But, again, I got to get Z back. He hurt the ankle. Just so you know, we scrimmaged 2 days. He hurt his ankle one of the scrimmage days. Are you kidding me? And now he's not really recovered, you can see. Michigan, you knew, like, he was trying to give us, I said, give us 10 minutes. And he couldn't. So we got to get him back to being who he is. Anything else so that I can get going? Thanks, folks. Happy holidays to everybody.